Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are revealing another wall today. So we've gotten a little bit behind on videos and stuff. We've just kind of been cranking through and working, and there's not a lot of new stuff. There's a couple of other details that we're going to show you all. So we're going to kind of wrap it all into one, but we have a whole nother wall done that there was only a few details that changed. So we'll show you those details right now. We are about to attempt our first shot at this new rebar epoxy. Basically what I'm going to do is mix it up out of the wall, goop it all over the end of the rebar, and then hand it to Kendall, who's in the wall, and she's going to place it in, hammer it in. There you go. Oh yeah, this is way better because I can seal it and they're not mixed at all.
And that went in really nicely.
Did it? All right, so for anybody else doing this, we've tried several different epoxies. This one seems to be the right one. Obviously we're not sponsored by them. I don't even know who the company is. Wedget High Performance Anchors. This stuff worked great because literally you can pull the cap off and you can see they're not mixing until they're out of the tube. And so this will not harden until we mix it again. So we can keep it sealed, and the next time we do more, we'll be able to mix it up and go from there. So this is the ticket. 2-part epoxy.
So you can see here that despite our best efforts over here, we have no gap. And by the time you get here, we've got about maybe a little more than 1/4 inch.
And actually, it's really about half that because the outer wall on the existing wall kind of curved in a little at the very end.
Okay.
And so at the wall further down, once you go down about 6 inches, it's probably about half that distance. So we got about maybe a little over 1/8 of an inch, 3/16, which is real good. I'm real pleased with that.
Nice.
We get to finally see what a corner looks like and kind of see how we did. That looks so cool. The way that everything, it's attached, but they're different colors. That just looks so pretty. Wow, and even though that big gap was there, because remember you said there was like almost a 1/4 inch gap.
Well, you can see it at the very top.
Yeah, at the very top. Yeah, but we'll be able to just chisel that out and it'll go flat. I mean, it'll look rough, but it won't look bad. Oh, this is my new favorite corner of our house.
Well, it's the only corner at the moment, love.
Well, yeah, therefore it's my favorite. No deviation till you get about to there, and then it's about a 1/16 to 1/8 to 3/8 or 3/16. It's not bad at all.
So looking at it from here, you can hardly tell.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be better next time to have the chamfer on this corner as well?
Yes, definitely. I'm really glad we're getting to this and being like, wow, I really like what rammed earth looks like, and we're not like, oh no.
What have we
What have we done?
Look at that. All right, so our corner wall is completely unveiled. And Ricky is now measuring for our doorway.
Yep. A lot of people ask about this, like, how does it do against weather and water and things like that? And with rammed earth, so we poured in 4 or 5 lifts, and then we had to be done for the day because it got to the end of the day. And then what we'll do is we pack down the last lift really, really well, and then we're going to vacuum it out. But before we do, I wanted to show you kind of what rammed earth looks like when it's not finished, when it doesn't have the concrete cap on top. You can see it's hard. I mean, it's as hard as concrete. So we'll pull out the loose material just to make sure that we get a good bond with the next set of rammed earth. And this is what's called a cold joint, is we'll vacuum this out and then bond the next set up to it. But the other thing you'll notice is there's water. So it rained last night just a teeny tiny bit, but there's water that actually collected on top of the rammed earth. So it is hydrophobic. That's what that admixture does, is it makes it so the water doesn't really want to soak into it. So if you check this out, so there's water actually in the wall, and it didn't soak into the rammed earth, it just stays on top of it. You can see that right there. We just put in a brand new section of form, did the chamfers, we did the spacers, everything, but we did something different with the foam, and I need to show you all. Check this out. If you can see, we cut corners off the edge of the foam, and it made it slide in way, way, way easier. So we just took the saw, put it at a 45 and just ran it at like, you know, cut off about that much. And it made it way easier going in. It's a nice tight fit. Everything just went smoother. And then the rest of it is going to be the reveal for today. So check it out. We got a whole new wall. This is my favorite day.
Reveal day.
Yeah, this is by far my favorite thing to do.
Want to tell them what we did differently on this wall?
Oh yeah, so biggest thing is we put this strong back in. It dramatically helped. The other thing we did have happen, and I want to show you all this so that you don't make the same mistake as us, is when we attached this to this form, I used screws that were 1.5 inches and didn't penetrate all the way through the plywood and come out the other side. And so they weren't holding on strong enough. And right here, we actually had it separate. So by the time it hits the top, it's almost 3/4 of an inch out. I braced it. I tried to do all kinds of stuff. But the lesson to take away here is build your forms right the first time. Overbuild them. Make sure they are nice and strong, because once you are ramming, there's really no way to correct it. No way to correct it well. We did the best we could, which probably saved us from going even further out. But the reality is this corner right here is just going to look a little weird. So it's our first kind of real big mistake with forming, and it was just I used the wrong screws. It is just an enormous amount of pressure in a very concentrated spot. So you want to build your forms, make sure they're nice and tight, and everything is secured as well as possible with the correct screws. It's the first time it's happened, and it was because I ran out of the other screws, and I thought that there would be enough grip on the screws that I had, and there wasn't. So live and learn. We'll do it differently next time. But that's why we're starting with the garage. All right, this should be free. It is. We can find
Ooh,
well, that's pretty. That's real pretty.
This is what we were just laughing about. Ricky dropped the bucket that had color in it on the concrete, and now it's all dirty. But look. Yay!
Yay!
So it will lighten up as it dries.
That's interesting. There's just been extra moisture in this one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or did we get concrete?
No.
Because the concrete bubbles.
Yeah, no, that's just probably too wet.
Huh.
Too wet on the rammed earth. Yeah, this one I think was just extra wet. So you get that bubbling. All right, so one of the other things that we did differently on this wall was due to a commenter. One of you, John Playa, recommended Tapcon screws instead of the ram set. And let me show you the result. So the ram set, that is the hole that's left over from the Tapcon screw. It's this teeny, teeny, tiny little hole. And over here, this is what happens with the ram set. It tears this big chunk of the concrete out. So, John Playa, thank you. We really appreciate it. The inner wall looks great. Look at that. I like it. See how bad it is. Oh.
It's actually not.
It's not bad at all. It's bad up there.
Whoops.
Yeah. So this, that rough edge right there, that's what that caused. That pushing out.
So here's something else. We had put a small piece of tape where the two chamfers joined right here. And it made a much less significant gap right there, or edge, where they met, because those two chamfers were not perfectly lined up. There was no way to get them perfectly lined up, as opposed to something like this over here, where we did not put tape and they were not lined up, and you can see there's a very harsh edge there.
You just pulled these forms off, and you've got a bump like this right here, right? So that's where a screw head had gone into the form, so it made a divot on the way out. But watch, if you just go like this. You can't see it on camera, but now it's perfectly flat. It actually recompressed right there, just fine.
Pressure wash the walls today?
Yeah, we can do that. Go get the pressure washer. Now I'm curious, because this is working great, because it's actually compressing. It's making dents in the wall. I'm curious on one that's done. It'll do the same thing. Oh yeah, totally works. Now it's flat.
Is it going to leave a permanent mark, though, that's whiter than everything else? That's my question. Or is it going to...
I don't know. We'll see.
Pressure wash it. If it will... Don't do too many of them then.
Okay. So we're going to pressure wash the walls to kind of get the layer of dust off and kind of get them to their final state, partially because we just want to see what it will look like. So here we go. So check this out. You can see how hydrophobic these walls are. It's actually causing the water to bead up and roll down it unless I really put the pressure washer on and get it to go into the pores. The other thing is I just went over where the things are. Now where I hit, this is where I had hit before. It left a small indentation because I think what happened is I collapsed some of the rammed earth. And then it, when I went over it with the pressure washer, it actually took out anything that was loose. So we kind of have choices to make, whether we want it to be like this, where I can hit it with the pressure washer and get a little bit. Actually, let me see something. I feel like this is the finishing part of like drywall.
Now my guess would be, though, if you hit that with the pressure washer right now, it's going to divot out.
Let's see. We got these mineral stains right here. We're going to see if this will take them out. Scratches come out. So there was a scratch right here.
Oh, yeah.
Still see it? Yeah, you can tell how hydrophobic it is because we washed it and it is drying right up, so it's not soaking into the walls.
Right here, where we had tapped one of those spots,
Yeah.
and then hit it with the pressure washer,
It just blew it all out.
blew it out.
But here, I didn't tap. I just hit it with the pressure washer, and it blew some of the smaller particles out and left some of the bigger ones, but it's, I don't know if less noticeable or, I don't know.
And then, but up there, where you hit it with the concrete,
Yeah, where I scratched it with a rock.
it did really pretty well.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. So even if the water penetrates, you know, half an inch into the wall, it's not going to get 2 feet through the wall.
Well, and it's interesting. This is our first cold joint.
Yeah.
And you can see that after pressure washing, it is definitely much deeper.
Yeah.
And more pronounced than, say, this was the third wall that we did. It's a lot less deep. Look at that, folks. It's looking good.
All right, so we are done for the day. We got this new wall exposed and done. It looks gorgeous. We pressure washed everything. Pretty happy with everything. Hopefully you enjoy this kind of content. And yeah, if you think we earned it, consider subscribing. Give us a thumbs up. Also, huge news for our channel. You guys are awesome. You guys are amazing. We just rolled over 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 people have chosen to join us on our adventure, and we are just very, very thankful. We're hoping to put out some kind of Patreon or some kind of thing that y'all can get more engagement with, as well as do maybe some Q&As over Zoom, because I know a lot of y'all are considering rammed earth, and we're by no means the experts, but we're in the middle of doing it, and maybe you could learn from some of our mistakes. So thank you again for subscribing. We'll see you next time. Cy Birch, we decided on the truck's name, and we are going with your suggestion of Tug. We like it because it's a towing vehicle. That's what it's going to be for. So Cy Birch, we're going with Tug. Thanks for joining our adventure.